Well, this is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube Live. We're out here in Devon supporting our frontline workers who are being forced to be jabbed by AHS, their employer. We got a good crowd here. There's the Devon General Hospital in the background. I got to be very careful what I say on YouTube because anything I say on here seems to be getting flagged as medical misinformation. So whether you are pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine really makes no difference to this debate. We are just pro-freedom of choice. We aren't making any medical claims about anything. We just think that folks have a right to choose what goes in or on their bodies. And I would be live streaming this on Facebook right now, but Facebook gave me a ban, which ends this afternoon. And David Dixon's been banned on Facebook for the next 30 days. And if anybody's watching this, there's a concerted campaign of trolling happening right now, where trolls that have multiple accounts are baiting people into saying things that are against community standards on Facebook. And then instantly reporting those comments to get as many people banned from these platforms as possible to essentially silence the other side. These are completely dirty tricks. And you know what YouTube has done to this channel is nothing but dirty tricks. I hardly even use this YouTube channel anymore because anytime I seem to post anything on it, it seems to get a strike. So if you think you're going to get any sort of information that's going to, help provide freedom to the people on YouTube, I'm not too sure about that. I just don't think it's going to work out that way. But, yeah, these vaccines can't be forced on people. That's not right. Your employer has no right to force a medical treatment on you. Our whole medical system is founded upon informed consent, which means that you are informed of the risks and the consequences, and you get to make your own choice. It's your body, it's your choice. And I know there's this argument about public safety out there, but I mean, if that were the case, why aren't we forcing people to hand over their STD panels to potential employers? I mean, I'm sure STDs end up costing lost work and problems in the workplace, and you can pick up crabs from a toilet seat. So why aren't employers asking for the results of your last STD panel or your last pap smear or your dental work? I mean, hey, your employer may as well just have access to all of that information for your own safety, right? And we got the city of Edmonton. They're demanding to know what the city employees' vaccination status is by no later than September 10th. They're saying, well, it's not a mandate. We're not forcing you to do anything. We just need to know. Well, the city's been asking for voluntary disclosure regarding that vaccine status for months now. I guess they didn't get the results they were looking for. Not enough people filled it out, or maybe it was the fact that it was anonymous. Is there any evidence that proves that unvaccinated people are actually a danger in the workforce or in a school or in a hospital? What I'm seeing on the news right now is getting quite frightening, where they are basically saying the words "the unvaccinated" in a derogatory fashion. They are deliberately stirring up hatred against the unvaccinated. These are serious issues. This doesn't have anything to do with medical misinformation. This has to do with people being villainized and dehumanized, which YouTube and Facebook should be well aware is one of the main steps on the path to genocide. That's what we're talking about here. You continue on down this road, at some point, the next step is they're just going to be putting guns to people's head or locking them up indefinitely, concentration camps. I mean, we're practically there. And in some countries, they already are there. I mean, I just heard of someone organizing protests in Australia got an 8-year prison sentence. For 8 months? Either one is ridiculous. 8 months for organizing a protest in a democratic country. I would expect that in China. I wouldn't expect that in Australia. And it just goes on and on and on. And these poor people, so many people went out and got a shot because, Jason Kenney said, oh, we get our 70%, you're all going to be free. We're going to be open for summer. But we smelled a rat right out of the gates with that lie. And here we are, all these people have gotten jabbed, most of them double jabbed, and now they're being told, yeah, well, it's only good for a couple months. You're just going to have to keep doing that if you want to keep your job, if you want to keep going to church, if you want to buy groceries in Quebec or actually, groceries are essential, but you can't stop at a McDonald's as you're traveling, like this, like what Quebec and BC are doing where only non-essential businesses need to be enforcing vaccine passports. So you need them to go to the gym. You need them to go to a restaurant. Well, imagine you're a trucker who eats on the road, right? Is he going to be able to stop at McDonald's without flashing his vaccine passport? Are they even going to let him through the drive-through without flashing his vaccine passport? I don't know. But this is going to change society in a pretty drastic way, and people better understand what they're getting themselves into here. Like we are staring over the precipice into the abyss. We don't have many steps forward before we're falling, free falling into despotism. And I wish this federal election were going to solve something, but that's just a pipe dream. I mean, Justin Trudeau and Erin O'Toole are running on the same platform. They're asking for the same things. The PPC, at least they're saying the right things. A lot of politicians say the right things when they're running, and then they get in and do something completely different. The Maverick, I don't think they even have a hope. Nobody even knows who they are. So to think this federal election is going to make any difference in our lives? No. No matter what the outcome of this election is, it's probably going to be worse for your life. And you know what? The other reality of this is this federal election is nothing but a distraction. So many people want to blame Trudeau for everything that's happened, COVID related. The reality is that all of this was done at the provincial and municipal level, right? The feds did very little. All the feds did was limit your access to travel. They shut down the borders, which in actuality they did in cooperation with the provinces. That wasn't even strictly a Fed decision. And the other thing the feds did is just hand out trillions and trillions of dollars, which we'll never see again and will never be repaid. But the province did most of this because public health is a provincial responsibility. Your school boards did this. Your churches did this. Your mayors did this. Since when did you expect the city of Edmonton to look out for public health? I mean, they're there to take the garbage out, pave the roads, build the schools. Their responsibility is not public health. That's always been the domain of the province. So why is Don Iveson forcing masks on people again? How is that even permitted? That is so far out of a city's mandate to be forcing masks on people. It just blows the mind. But anyway, there's protests going on all across the country outside of hospitals in support of healthcare workers' right to choose what goes in or on their bodies. And so we're out here in Devon, Alberta, small town Alberta. We've got a beautiful little crowd here. Getting quite a few support honks. We got the flag flying. Upside down, of course, because I would say we're in distress. So anyway, it's cold. I'm jittery. And I don't know how much water this phone can take, so I'll get off the live stream. Thanks for tuning in. David and I will be live on Facebook tonight to discuss the events of the week. Everybody wants to know how to deal with their employers regarding these, mandates and stuff that are coming from their businesses. We're going to talk about that. There are no easy solutions. What I will say, though, and this is what we've been saying for the last few weeks, is don't quit your job and don't give them a reason to fire you. You stay working and you stall. You stall for as long as you can. And while you're stalling, you find support. And you get to know the people in your employment that are on your side and that don't want this to happen either. Because like I say, a lot of people went and got 1 dose or 2 doses thinking that they'd be off the hook after that. And now that they are starting to realize that it's going to be booster shots to infinity, a lot of your coworkers aren't okay with that. So reach out to them. Figure out who's on your side. Don't refuse to get the vaccine. Stall. Force your employer to provide the information so that you can make an informed decision. And I like David's idea. Actually, all of these are David's ideas. But what you really should be doing is tell your employer, once you've stalled all you can, say, you know what, I need to discuss this with my physician, because this is a decision that can only be made with the consultation of a medical professional. And, book a doctor's appointment and then book a full medical, which if your doctor's like any of my doctors I've had, you'll be waiting at least 6 weeks to get that medical and get a full checkup, because you got to know if there's any underlying conditions that might preclude you from a specific medical treatment. This is all about informed consent, YouTube, and I am not providing medical advice. This is political advice. YouTube. Yeah, watch, I'll get a strike for this. That's all right, though. I haven't posted on here in such a long time that I've nearly got a clean record again. So, Dave, you got anything you want to...
Where is everyone? It's raining. Informed consent. It's all you need to know. Informed consent. You cannot be coerced into making a decision. If you are coerced, it's not consent. If you are not informed, it's not consent. But if you decide to do it, nobody's pinning you down and sticking a needle in your arm. So what you end up doing is contributory negligence. If you don't do your due diligence yourself, don't expect anybody else to do it for you. It's your duty to yourself and your family and your children to make sure that whatever's happening, you understand it and you have been fully informed. And the duty on who informs you is whoever is telling you you need to do it. If your employer says you need to do it, then they need to provide the information in a manner that you can understand. And then, as just as you then, once you've gone through all of that and you understand it, you then go and see a doctor. And when you've seen a doctor, depending on what your doctor says, it's every possibility that all of this process, from the last 18 months and now going through this, is likely to stress you out a lot. So maybe you might have to take some stress leave. Everybody's entitled to stress leave. That's a perfectly valid reason to be going off. And during that time, maybe you might take some holidays as well, so you're away from the stress of work to actually make a final decision on what you're going to do. And all the way through that process, up until that last point, you don't have to say no, because you are still trying to work through the process and getting informed. And that is your right. You can't be fired for trying to be informed. And if you are, then that's an unfair dismissal, and you do have some recourse then. Do not quit. Do not tell your employer you are not going to take it.
Awesome.
Because you are not fully informed to make that decision yet. And even if, whether you are somebody who is full on board with getting this vaccine, or is dead against it, or is totally unsure, you should be going through the same process. I mean, what do you do where you don't actually know what you're doing?
I just gonna...
Oh, Jess is gone. Now I've got to hold it. What?
Oh, it's all good.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure where those two went.
Okay. So yeah, be informed. No matter what your position is right now. No matter what you think, no matter whether you're fully for these vaccines, whether you think it's going to get you out, I'm not sure how many you're prepared to take before enough is enough. Will it be 3? Will it be 10? Because it doesn't end. They've told you that. Right now, the US, the recommendation from Fauci, because he's such a reliable source, is every 5 months and possibly sooner.
Okay, hey. That's going to be medical misinformation, David.
No, that's what he said. He posted.
I know that's what he said, but
oh yeah,
we can't tell the truth on YouTube, David.
Sorry about that. Do a Google search and find out what some of the experts in the US are talking about in relation to how many of these things that you're going to be taking. And also, remember, once you've done that, we can talk about something that I am an expert in, cybersecurity and privacy. Will you be happy with your digital passport? Because this province is saying, oh, you'll print it out, it'll be a paper thing. That's just so they can gauge how many people are going to print it out. Because when you hit that, when you pull up the page to print it, they will actually track that in the audit log in the database. They'll be able to do a search on how many people have looked at it, how many people have printed it out, how many people lost it and had to reprint it. And then once they get critical mass, they'll switch it over to a digital passport, which has already been built by Google and Microsoft. How do I know? I'm a Microsoft partner. Manitoba's already got it in test. It has lots of places for a lot of information you would never want to give to your employer. You probably wouldn't want to give it to your family, let alone giving it to the local supermarket so you can buy milk, because that's what it'll be. And the digital passport doesn't just work when you actually swipe it. It is tracking your every move. It is doing same as the track and trace. It will monitor who you're near using Bluetooth low energy. So you get within, right now we're within, certainly within 60 feet of maybe 40 people. Every single one of the people here, if they've got a smartphone, will already have been tagged by Google and or Apple that they were in close proximity with each other. Do you want your government to have that? Is that information you're happy for them to have? And then what will they do with that? Once they've got your location, they know who you've been with, they'll know who you voted for, they'll know what type of milk you buy. Google and all these other companies already use that to monitor and manage your behavior and your spending patterns already. What about when they can do that with more? What about when the stuff they're doing that is very suspicious from a privacy perspective is legitimized by the government, all in the name of your safety? What happens then? I mean, at the end of the day, I can't because of my medical history, but whether I'll get excluded or not, I don't know. So I won't have papers to produce. But anybody getting a vaccine, you will have papers. And if you miss a booster, then your papers will be worth as much as not having papers. So you'll suddenly not be able to buy milk. What if you forget your smartphone, or the battery's dead and you need to get gas, or you need to get milk, or the baby is crying and you need to pick up some diapers? And I'm sorry, but computer says no, because the government says no. This is more than just about a jab or a mask. This is about your future. And if you don't understand that by now, then I guess you're still waiting for the first 2 weeks to be over. The first 2 weeks are over. We are now in the end game. Why is there such a panic after 18 months? We went through the flu season last year. We went through the huge spikes and the first, second and third wave last year, and we had less numbers than we do now. We didn't have vaccines. Now we've got vaccines and the numbers are through the roof. The government, check on what the government actually uses for definitions for everything. All the doctors and nurses know that's why they're out here all across the province and all across the world saying, no, this is a step too far. I was on a Zoom call last night with a lot of doctors and nurses from a wide area, And they confirmed everything. If you've listened to any of my talks, if you've read any of my research, they confirmed everything. Most of the people in hospital are the vaccinated. Most of the people that are unvaccinated get tested. If they're vaccinated, they don't. Reporting of vaccine injuries. Even the CDC today actually put out the statements on what the myocarditis and pericarditis injury numbers were, and they are horrendously higher, just off the chart from what their expectations are, and yet we're still rolling it out. Coffee. 2 milk. Yeah. Getting coffee. It's cold out here and it's wet out here. You would know that if you were out here. Nobody's coming to save you. It's time for you to get up and save yourselves. Let me find Josh. My hands are getting cold. My hands are getting cold.
I know.
Where's your stick?
We're suffering for freedom once again. Yeah, I know. I left a stick in the van. Yeah, I gave my selfie stick away. That was a poor move.
Uh-oh.
And then I have my little holder, but I forgot it in the van.
Have you brought cash? We could probably go get one.
Yeah, I forgot the tripod too. Anyway, so unexpected live stream on Facebook. Got to hear from the inimitable David Dixon. I've tried and failed. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out on Facebook tonight. We will be there starting at about 8 o'clock. So if you want the full meal deal, supersized, join the live stream tonight. And come protest with us every Saturday, 1 p.m., Capitol Plaza at the Legislature. Enough is enough, folks. It's time to make a stand. Cheers.